Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome back to Rep Sports. I am Rahul Giri and joined by Bharat Ramraj. And again, we are back to discuss Hockey World Cup because today, in just few minutes, Indian women's hockey team will take on Germany in the fifth place finish match. If India can pull off a victory against Germany, then they will create history for the first time ever since 1974, in which edition of the World Cup they actually finished fourth. Uh, their best achievement so far at the Hockey World Cup. So if India can beat Germany today, then India for the first time in 52 years it will be their best ever finish at the World Cup. Bharat obviously will discuss about the India Germany game, but before that, let's do a recap of Indian women's team campaign so far at this World Cup. So how would you summarize their whole World Cup so far? Because there have been so many positives. They have, played out draw against formidable teams like China, then England. They lost to Netherlands, but also after conceding two penalty corners. So, if I ask you to summarize the whole campaign so far for the women's hockey team.
Yeah, they have put on a gritty performance. That's no doubt about that. So they have put on a gritty performance. That's the first point to look at. In terms of the defense, India have been very gritty. We saw that especially in the game against England, and also to large extent in the match against Netherlands. Because Netherlands against some other team might have scored 4 or 5 goals. Yes, they might have experimented a little bit by bringing in Matla for Ricky Jansen in between during that match. But still, if you keep Netherlands down to 2-0 down, then down to 2-0, then you have done a pretty decent job. So against Australia, I thought India should have won it. Honestly, I thought India should have won it because I don't think Australia played well. India had their chances. The easiest one was Nikki Pradhan, just just the goalkeeper in front of her. She just needed to put it inside the net, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. These things obviously happen. It's still a work in progress. The side is still a work in progress. There are issues with regard to their midfield. There are issues with regard to their finishing touches when it comes to scoring those goals. There were some missed passes against. There were some missed passes against Australia. They lost the ball in turnovers. That is something that Marin himself said it during the half time that India need to do more. India need to do better when they are on the ball. So there are some issues, but as we have already noted that it's a side in working. That's a work in progress side. It is not a what can I say? It's not a side that it is at its peak of its prowess. Hopefully, they will be at that peak of their prowess somewhere 2 years down the line in the Olympics. That is when it will really matter, and also in the Asian Games, upcoming Asian Games. Hopefully, they will get it. They will get even better. But yes, positives to take from the World Cup so far.
Absolutely. The team is actually undergoing a process now, and considering when actually Sword Marine again returned to join the team in February, and the work actually went behind the scene. To be honest, it has been an impressive performance from the women's hockey team at this World Cup. Of course, everyone in this team will regret the match against Australia because there India just needed a goal and a victory to qualify for the semi-final, which could have been a historic finish at the Hockey World Cup. But unfortunately, Indian women's team couldn't make the most of the moments they got actually against Australia. And I totally agree with Bharat, as Bharat said, that Australia were not up to the mark. India had their moments; they just needed to capitalize on their moment. But now we have nothing to do actually, thinking about that game. Now, obviously, Indian women's team will look forward after this game against Germany. They have Asian Games as well, where they will be looking for a direct qualification for the LA Olympics 2028. But before today's game against Germany, our women's hockey team goalkeeper Savita Punia, one of the most experienced player in the team, have spoken to Rep Sports that what has been the key for women's team at this World Cup. Of course, we have seen such an impressive performance from the team, but what actually has been the key, according to Savita Punia, the goalkeeper of the team bonding and unity has been the key for this team. Let's take a look what she is saying to Rep Sports.
देखा है कि प्लेयर्स और कोचेस के बीच तालमेल नहीं था। हमने चिट्ठी के बारे में पढ़ा है, लिखा है कि प्लेयर्स के बीच ग्रुप्स बन चुका है एंड डिविजन्स है, टर्मोइल है। अपने बीच में जो बिलीफ था, प्लेयर्स के बीच में जो होना था वो नहीं था। ऑल ऑफ दैट हैज चेंज। अभी मैं दोबारा देख रहा हूँ सर्ड मराइना के अंडर आप लोग एक बनकर खेल रहे हो। उस दिन जब बिच्छू ने वो लास्ट सेव किया वो मैच में लास्ट सेकंड में आप जैसे जंप किए, आप मैं साइड लाइन से एक वीडियो देख रहा था, आपका जो रिएक्शन था वो मुझे बोला कि यार अगर मैं चकदे पे वापस जाऊं, ये टीम बन रही है, ये टीम है, वो मुझे अच्छा लगा। क्या आप बता सकते हो क्या बदल गया? क्योंकि क्लियरली आप लोग एक नहीं थे, वहां से अभी दोबारा एक टीम बन चुका है, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज गिविंग मी होप।
जी सर, ये तो सच है कि एक नहीं थे, और अगर आप लोग नोटिस कर पा रहे हो तो आपको पता है कि कुछ ना कुछ टीम में जरूर था जिसकी वजह से वो यूनिटी नहीं थी, और हम उस चीज पे ज्यादा बात ना करके अभी ये है कि अभी क्या चेंज हुआ। तो सबसे अच्छा यही है कि हमारे जो कोच शूड आए हैं, माटी है, उसके साथ हमारा भी जो गोलकीपर कोच पिरमन है, वेन रोडे, क्यारा टाके, हमारे जो इवन जो इंडियन कोचेज हैं, फिजियो है, एक टीम का जो इन्वायरमेंट है वो बहुत बहुत बड़ी एक चेंज उसमें आया। और जब शूड आई थी तो मैंने भी उनको यही बोला था कि हमारी टीम अच्छी है, बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर्स हैं, फिट है, स्किलफुल है, सब कुछ है, बट सबसे पहले अगर हमें किसी चीज पे काम करना है तो वो एक टीम इन्वायरमेंट पे काम करना है, जिससे एक हेल्दी इन्वायरमेंट हो, जहाँ पे सब मिलके रहे। अगर मुझे कुछ बोलना है तो मेरे अंदर कुछ डर ना रहे, मैं ओपनली बात कर पाऊँ। तो वो ऑफ द फील्ड बहुत काम किया गया है, और इसी वजह से शायद आपने वो नेशन कप में भी देखा होगा कि टीम के अंदर एक यूनिटी दिखी। और सेम अगर आपसे सबसे बड़ा एग्जांपल आपने ऑलरेडी बोला ही है कि मेरा और बिच्छू का आपने देखा होगा कि हमारा ऑन द फील्ड कनेक्शन कैसा है। तो मेरे पापा भी मुझे बोल रहे थे कि बेटा जिस तरह से तुम्हारा दिखता है, जो आपस में कॉम्बिनेशन दिखता है टीम का और बाकी प्लेयर्स के साथ, या गोलकीपर गोलकीपर बहुत कम होते होंगे कि फ्रेंड्स होते होंगे, क्योंकि आप एक दूसरे के कॉम्पिटिटर हो। बट कॉम्पिटिटर हम हैं ट्रेनिंग में, जब हम ट्रेनिंग में हैं तब कॉम्पिटिटर हैं। जब मैं गोल पोस्ट के अंदर हूँ मुझे अपना बेस्ट करना है, बिच्छू गोल पोस्ट के अंदर है उसको अपना बेस्ट करना है। बट मुझे बेटर बनने के लिए मुझे बिच्छू की हेल्प चाहिए, बिच्छू को बेटर बनाने के लिए मुझे हेल्प करना है उसका। तो क्योंकि इन द एंड हमें इंडिया के लिए खेलना है, कंट्री के लिए खेलना है, और वो हमने एक दूसरे की हम स्ट्रेंथ बने हैं। और आई होप हम एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल सेट कर रहे हैं आने वाले बच्चों के लिए या किसी भी टीम गेम के लिए, कि आपको परफॉर्मेंस करना है, बट सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हम सब घर से ज्यादा टाइम कैंप में स्पेंड करते हैं, तो हमारे लिए आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ, एक दूसरे के दर्द में दर्द फील करना, एक दूसरे की खुशी में खुश होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। जब तक वो कनेक्शन नहीं होगा, हम आपस में ग्राउंड के अंदर कुछ ना कुछ हेजिटेशन रहेगा। और बीइंग ए सीनियर, मैं अपनी टीम को भी यही कोशिश करती हूँ कि हम जितना ज्यादा यूनिट होके रहेंगे ओपोनेंट के लिए उतना ही डिफिकल्ट रहेगा, क्योंकि हमने वो टाइम भी देखा है जहाँ पे हमारी टीम बिल्कुल भी एक साथ नहीं थी और काफी अच्छी टीम थी, बट टीम में यूनिटी नहीं थी, और उसकी वजह से हमने
There you can see that Savita Punia, speaking on the team bonding and the unity, how actually have worked wonders for the team. Bharat, the word on the goalkeeping department of women's hockey team. Do you think women's team goalkeepers have been really brilliant compared to the men's hockey team? Do you think the goalkeeping department have been the difference between the men's team and women's team and this World Cup? Because in hockey, you really need an experienced goalkeeper like Savita Punia, and also need an experienced goalkeeper to guide the youngster in the team as well. A word on Savita Punia and Bichu Devi, the way they have fared so far at this World Cup?
I guess the second point is also very important. To need an experienced goalkeeper to guide the young goalkeeper. Somewhere the men's team doesn't have that kind of luxury at present. See, someone like Mohit, I feel is a promising goalkeeper, but perhaps he needed someone with the stature of Srijesh or on those lines to guide him, and that is where someone like Bichu Devi, she has Savita Punia to guide her. Sorry, Bichu Devi herself is a brilliant goalkeeper, no doubt about that. Sorry, I'm sneezing a bit.
No
Yes.
worries.
So yeah, Vichu Devi herself is a brilliant goalkeeper. We saw that in that match against Italy in the World Cup qualifiers as well, when she saved two or three shots on the goal. And even in this World Cup, we saw that, especially in the match against Netherlands, I believe, not especially in the match against England, where she made some saves. And Savita Punia herself put on a classy effort in that match against the Netherlands, where she saved, I think, 5, 6 attempts on the goal. Otherwise, Netherlands might have scored 4 or 5 goals. Who knows? So yes, it is a wild cog of the side in any side in hockey, and India are blessed to have a couple of really good goalkeepers. Although I'm not saying it will happen. No one has heard it, but there are speculations around as to how long Savita Punia will play, whether she will play after the Asian Games. Even in case, I'm not saying it will happen. This is not some sources are on those lines, but even if in case if Savita Punia hangs up her boots after the Asian Games, India have a very good goalkeeper to step up in Bichu Devi.
Absolutely, Bharat. And now we will shift our focus to the Germany game as the Indian women's team will face Germany uh, for that fifth place finish. Bharat, what do you think would be the real threat, for India from this Germany team? Also, do you see real chances for Indian women's team against Germany? Germany, when it comes to Germany in world hockey, I won't say they are the dominant force, but I would say they are one of the most consistent force in world hockey, right?
Yes. See, Germany, I think, is going through transition phase. This is definitely not the squad or not the side that I saw in Ranchi. They had a very experienced side there. I believe Nike Lawrence, someone that I have interviewed a couple of years ago, Schroeder, Stephen Horst, Cecil Paper, Kira Horn, all these players have retired from international hockey. So it's a side that is going through a transitional phase, transition. You know who is the coach of this particular German team. I don't have to name her, but it definitely a side that is going through transition. That is why they have had some losses, and India gave them a really good fight in Ranchi a couple of years ago. I expect them to do well. Obviously, you might say that the Indian team in 2024 was playing in front of the home crowd. So yeah, I go back to the same point. The side that is going through transition, I don't think it is doing that well. So India, I believe, have a chance, just like what one would see when India took on Australia. I honestly thought that India can defeat Australia because it's another side that is going through a kind of transition phase. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Yes, the key players still there are few of them around. One of them is obviously Sonja Zimmerman. She was around even when Nikki Lawrence was the captain of the German team. I think Nolte has taken over as the captain from Sonja now. So she's someone who is very much known for her leadership. And there are a few more. Maybe there is, I think, a girl called Lily Stoffel Sma. I hope I got the pronunciation right. A very good forward. And I think as far as the defensive lines are concerned, it will be led by Jette Flesh Hulsh.
Yeah.
Again, I hope my pronunciation is right, a few of these names. But yes, they have a decent side, but I don't think it's an experienced side that I saw in Ranchi in 2024 in the, what can I say, Olympic qualifiers when they had a very, very experienced score with a lot of them or 180, 170, 200 caps, and many of them have retired since that Paris Olympics. So I think India have a decent chance. No, they're not the favorites going in this year, but
Yeah,
yes,
Bharat.
they can.
Yeah, I think they are not the clear favorite, I would say. But at the same time, they're also coming to they came actually at this World Cup, on the back of a great form, to be honest. They qualified for the World Cup, after finishing as the runners up in the Euro Hockey Championship. And then in the FIH Pro League, though they got a mid table finish, but still in the last 7 games, if you see, they own, I think, 6 out of 7 games. So that shows the incredible form recently before this World Cup. Unfortunately, they failed to qualify for the semi-final, but no doubt, Germany will be, a mountain to climb for actually Indian women's team. And when we are discussing about this game, actually, we should also talk about another problem that Indian women's team have faced so far at this World Cup. That has been scoring problem. That has been a major concern for this team. Of course, whenever they have faced teams like China, Australia, or England, formidable teams at this World Cup, always they looked like a unit, which has been difficult to break down actually. Before this World Cup, or 1 or 2 years ago, when Indian women's team used to face teams like China, Australia, or England, uh, they used to work into that game as clear underdog. But now, whenever Indian women's team is to work into such game against Australia or China, we have seen that the way they have fought, against those teams at this World Cup. But scoring actually has been a major concern because India have failed to score against China. Against China, they have scored only one goal. They have failed to score against Australia, against Netherlands, against England as well. So, Bharat, do you think the scoring has been a major concern against Germany? Do you think Navneet Kaur or Deepika can accomplish that job for Indian women's team?
Yeah, to start with, yes, an extent, I agree. Germany have been in good form, but I need to add one point to that because they're still struggling when it comes to playing against some of the top sides. If you notice, in the Pro League 2025-26, they finished fifth. I thought they were at their absolute peak between that Olympics in 2016 to 2022-23. In the 2022-23 Pro League, I believe they finished second. That 6 year period, I thought this German side, when they had all those experienced players who have retired, they were at their absolute peak. So that's just my humble opinion. As far as the Indian team is concerned, yes, as we have already noted, there is a problem. There's perhaps some echo or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, as far as the Indian team is concerned, that's a problem with their finishing touches when it comes to someone like even it could be not just Deepika or someone else, a few others. It could be even with regard to what we saw when Nikki Pradhan had a chance. She couldn't put it away. I know she's not a forward. Salima Tete had a couple of chances. She missed them. This is in terms of field goals. They're not able to get enough in terms of enough penetration in terms of penalty corners as well. So India have problems with regard to their finishing touches. That is where they have to improve. They have to also improve with regard to their midfield, somewhere their back in back with regard to their defensive lines. So they're pushed back all the time. They're kind of in a shell in their own half, and that's what has happened in the matches against England and Australia. Both in those matches, India couldn't score a goal. They had their chances. Their
I think there's some connection issue from Bharat's side. Okay, I think Bharat will rejoin, but before that, we have got several comments actually. All the comments coming from Saurabh Kumar, our regular viewers. Saurabh is saying, okay, we'll take this comment. Harmanpreet sometimes looks like the only man doing the heavy lifting. He doesn't get any support from rest of the players. Is it a concern? Obviously, for men's team going to the Asian Games, it's a concern that the team is so much reliant on Harmanpreet Singh and his penalty corner conversion. And we have talked at length about this thing throughout this hockey world cup. Every time India played against formidable teams, they are so much reliant on Harmanpreet Singh. I mean, at this World Cup as well, coming against Netherlands only, we have seen Chukji scoring 2 goals. In another game, we have seen Avishek scoring a open play goal, but most of the time it has been Harmanpreet Singh and converting those penalty corners. Going forward at the Asian Games, India should have a plan B. India need other forward as well to step in alongside Harmanpreet, and also India should have plan B in the penalty corner as well. Suppose if the opponent come well prepared against Harmanpreet Singh in the penalty corner, India should have someone else to step in the penalty corners. Okay, Bharat has lost his connection. He is joining as soon as possible. Saurabh Kumar, another comment. If some corrective actions aren't taken, both soccer and hockey will be at the same level for us. Very valid point made by Saurabh Kumar. I mean, if corrective actions are not taken at football and hockey, I think these two games, they will keep on struggling. But for hockey, I think the scenario is totally different. Men's team bringing back-to-back bronze at the Olympic. But for women's team, obviously, the way the last 3 to 4 years have gone. But at this World Cup, uh, I don't know whether they will finish fifth or sixth. But the way they have actually performed so far, it has been really an encouraging performance from them. And going forward, I see real chances of this team to do something big at the Asian Games and also if they qualify for the Paris Olympics as well. Bharat, we are taking comments only from the comment section. We'll end our show in just few minutes because in just few minutes the action will start. Saurabh Kumar got another comment. India always struggles mentally against Aussies, Dutch, and Belgium. More than skill is the mindset that needs to be changed first. Valid question, Bharat. Your thoughts? Do you think our team struggle mentally against heavyweight nations?
Yeah, I guess it's a combination of factors. I don't think it is just about the mental side of things. Yes, against a team like Australia, it could be. But India did defeat Australia, I'm right. So if I'm not mistaken, they did defeat India a couple of times recently, and they've defeated Australia in the past as well, in the Tokyo Olympics, famously. So India have done that against Australia, but against a team like Netherlands, I don't think it's just about the mental side of things. I just think Netherlands are quite a bit better than every other side going around. Yes, Belgium have come through in women's hockey as well. So yes, that could be a factor when they're playing against teams like Germany. When actually India did match Germany when I watched them in Ranchi, and there was a very experienced German side as well. So yeah, I don't think it's just about the mind side of things. It could also be in relation to skill factor. It could be in relation to tactics. So I guess it's a combination of factors that are hurting the Indian side in both men's and women's hockey. And they also play slightly different way. The European sides play slightly different way compared to the Asian sides. So that is something that we have to look at. Maybe the Indian women's team also tend to struggle in order to adjust to the different style of hockey. So I guess it goes beyond just mental side of things, but it has to be one of the factors because you could see in the game against Australia, India panicked quite a bit when it comes to certain moments. So the players panicked quite a bit with missed passes. And as I already noted that Nikki Pradhan just had the goalkeeper in front of her. I'm not criticizing her too much, but that kind of a uh, uh, that kind of a chance should have been put away. It should have been a goal there. 10 out of 10 times, I'm pretty sure Nikki Pradhan would have done that in practice sessions, but unfortunately, it didn't happen in the reality. That is where maybe that particular poster is right, but I guess it's just only a part of it. There could be other factors that are hindering the Indian team when they go up against those European sides.
Absolutely well said, Bharat. And few minutes to go for the game between Indian women's team and Germany women's team at this World Cup. A match, where a fifth place at this World Cup at stake. So let's see. Actually, our women's team have defied all odds and expectations this time at the World Cup. We all had doubts whether they would be able to qualify for the championship round or not. They proved everyone wrong, and they did. Then they fought valiantly against Netherlands. They played out a gritty draw against Australia. Now, this time, the question is, can they finish fifth at this World Cup, which will be a historic finish? So let's see. And of course, they will be looking to finish this World Cup on a high note. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot, Bharat, to all of our viewers as well. But don't forget to join us on the post-match show as well, because after the match, we'll discuss about the game and also the way forward for this women's hockey team. Thanks for watching. See you in our next show.